Billionaire Warren Buffett is one of the most respected investors on Wall Street. People have spent more than $1 million just to have lunch with him. But having Buffett as one of your largest shareholders can be a double-edged sword. At least that is the cover story of this week's issue of Bloomberg BusinessWeek. That hit stands today. And for more on the story, we are joined right now by the magazine's editor, Josh Tyrangiel. Josh, always good to see you, and especially brave that you made it through the New York City snowstorm. We appreciate it.
Let it never be said, I don't care.
All right, Josh, noted. Buffett's, has been known for his benign neglect, right? That's the ultimate compliment, it seems, to the companies that he's involved with. A little different, though, this year when we saw him make some comments about Kraft's Irene Rosenfeld, the way she was handling the bid for Cadbury.
Yeah, and this is what actually got us, interested in doing this story, is that Buffett is famous for buy and hold. He's famous for actually trusting the CEOs who make money for Berkshire Hathaway. In this instance, he sort of lashed out. And so we reached out to Alice Schroeder, who wrote The Snowball, with Buffett's cooperation, which is, of course, Buffett's biography. And we really asked her to explore the relationships he's had, not just now, but over the years with these CEOs. Yeah, you have some great color
in here. How he's sort of, people know that he is displeased with them by what he doesn't say, and sort of a cool approach.
Exactly. I mean, look, the guy is just as genial and sagacious as his persona would suggest. At the same time, he expresses his discontent in all sorts of interesting ways, one of which is just by omission. He won't talk about your company in the annual letter, in the memo to shareholders. Another is just by getting activist. I mean, the way we sort of construct this with many, many companies and many CEOs, it's pretty basic. If you're making Berkshire Hathaway money, he lets you be. If you're not, if there's a threat to value, he moves into action in a couple of different ways.
And you mentioned this activist role. We saw it with Coca-Cola.
Absolutely, where he wasn't thrilled with the way the sort of culture of Coke had been meandering, and he got heavily involved. I mean, to the point that he was talking about individual deals, he was talking about personnel, and really lobbied for the right people to come in and save the company. And, another example where he didn't, interestingly enough, is Moody's. Now,
which at one point, he had a 20% stake in the company.
Yeah,
right?
and Moody's is a company that, if any company could have used Buffett's perspective, Moody's surely would have been one. And Alice really did tremendous work digging up attempted correspondence between some managers at Moody's and Buffett saying, no, I'm a passive investor in this company. And you can only imagine how things might have turned out if he weren't.
We want to move on and talk about Google here. It seems like there's a bunch of ex-Google guys getting the band back together. They're investing together in some tech companies we know pretty well.
Yeah, we've discovered about 50 folks in the Google community who get together for, dinner and drinks probably every 3 months or so. And really, some of it is to talk about technology and innovation. At the same time, some of it's talked about getting rich, or rather getting richer. And these folks have put money in all sorts of really interesting companies. What we try to do is tell that story and at the same time give you a pretty big and authoritative graphic about where their money is going. Some big companies like Twitter, some very small companies, and some non-tech companies as well.
All right, and how much cash can you figure out has been put into these companies?
Well, what we know is that the sort of the wealth that has been generated among this group of people, and it's billions and billions of dollars. And so, in some cases, it's stakes of 25 grand, and in some cases, it's much, much bigger.
Josh, we thank you so much. And you can read more about the stories that Josh just talked about here in the latest issue of Bloomberg BusinessWeek. Some other highlights in this week's issue include Ohio AG Cordray battling Wall Street, CEOs hiding behind hedges, and how the political gridlock in D.C. might end.